I know you've heard more than one marketing expert say it. People these days do business with who they know, like, and trust. And the truth of the matter is, trust is probably the most important one of those, because I might not like you, but if I truly trust you to get my business objectives met, I might still do business with you anyway. But here's the bottom line. Getting clients to know and trust you requires human interaction and becoming more than just someone who builds beautiful websites. I know. I hear it all the time from website developers. They hate the business part of their business. They just want to build beautiful websites. Well, if that's you, then you'll want to stick around, because I'm going to share with you 3 easy peasy human methods you can use, plus 3 deliverables. Well, actually, there's 4, but one is optional, that you can create, yes, with AI, to make your clients trust you from day one. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Beth Livingston, former director of the WP Project Managers Academy, and I've trained hundreds of website developers just like you across the country and internationally on how to get projects completed on time, within budget, with features that meet the client's business requirements without sacrificing profit. That's the big part. We've also just launched our new website, PM for Profit, where we're going to show you how to use AI to cut your project planning time in half. More about that later. Let's get on with this training. Okay, the first thing you can do to get your clients to know and trust you, I can't guarantee they'll like you, but in most cases they do. And the first one is to get to know them. Ask personal, not too personal questions. Ask about their family, how they started their business. Ask what they really like about their business. Ask what they really don't like about their business. And then listen. Listen, Linda, listen. That's a tough skill as well when you're already thinking about the next thing you're going to say. And that's really hard. You have to put that on the back burner. So once you've listened, then commiserate. Agree with them on topics you can agree with them on. And if you can, tell a story about a similar situation that you've dealt with. This is how you get to know people, and this is how they get to know you. And it's really not that hard. If you're struggling with this, then get AI to help you formulate some personal but not too personal questions that you can discuss with this client. The second way that you can get clients to trust you is establish yourself as a professional. Sometimes we jump way too quickly into the work part, and we don't let the client know properly that they are a part of the team and that you are there to help them meet their business objectives. So you should always refer to yourself as a professional website provider or professional website developer or designer or whatever you call yourself. Use the word professional, because if you consider yourself a professional, your client will too. So it's very important to acknowledge that the client is part of the team and set that expectation that there are inputs and places in the project plan where they will need to interact with you. One way you can do this is to show them your processes. Show them your change control process. Show them your acceptance management process. Explain to them how website projects work. We sometimes forget what we didn't used to know, and we assume that the client knows certain things that they don't know, so explain it to them. Ask them if they have any questions about the way things will work. The big thing about showing them your processes, I'm not suggesting that you get out 3 or 4 or 5 sheets of your processes and show them to them, but describe how those processes have saved your projects in the past with change management and acceptance management and all the things you put into place to circumvent problems that other web developers have. Give examples of a change control that came through that you had to assess, and the client decided either to do it or not to do it based on how much it was going to impact the timeline, the resources, and the cost. Educating your client is the best way to establish yourself as a professional. The third human method to make people know you and trust you is to acknowledge the risks to the project. Be honest about how things could go wrong, but then always explain how you've got processes and systems in place to keep those things from happening. Now, you can do all three of these things in your pre-proposal meeting when you're simply gathering the basic data so that you can provide an estimate. Don't worry about trying to keep the meeting to a certain length, because this meeting is the critical meeting where they're going to know whether they know, like, and trust you. Now, let's talk about the project deliverables that you can create during the pre-proposal phase that not only is going to make the client trust you, it's more than likely going to make the client choose you over other providers that they might be considering. So the first one is the project brief. This is something that people always leave out, and it drives me insane. If you take the transcript from your pre-proposal meeting and put it into AI and ask AI to create a typical website development project brief for you, it's going to pull everything out of that transcript and create something beautiful that you can then edit and modify as necessary, hand over to your client and say, please tell me if we got everything right or wrong in our meeting. Here's what we documented. Tell us if we're right or wrong, or if there's things you want to add or things that have occurred to you since then. It's certainly a way to prevent scope creep before you even get into the project, because you're already asking them, is there anything you forgot? Is there anything we forgot? Validate this before we go to the trouble of creating an estimate and a proposal. The next item, once they've validated that project brief, the next thing you can provide to your client and say, does this look right to you? Not carved in granite. It's nothing they have to approve and sign off on, but create a visual sitemap. Show them how the pages all link together and how the navigation will work. Ask them if that's what they had in mind. Make any changes that they'd like to make to it. The fact that you're doing this but other website providers are not is going to immediately set you apart and make you look like a professional and make that client trust you, and you hardly did anything at all. The other thing that I highly recommend doing, if you've done the other two, is create a content rough order of magnitude. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you've got your visual sitemap, you know how many pages there are. If you've already got content on an existing website, you know how much content there is to work with, even if you have to update it. If it's a new website, because you've gotten validation on that visual sitemap, you can look at that and you can estimate that these pages are going to take this much content and it's going to take this much time to create that much content. And AI can help you with that as well. How long does it take the average person to write an intro page for a paragraph or an about page? You can ask AI for that guidance, and then give yourself a content rough order of magnitude that you can use in your estimates. So many people forget to estimate the content activities because the client's doing them. These days, I always recommend that you do it with AI and let the client edit it. That's going to save a boatload of time. That's another topic for another video. Now, if you want to be really super precise about the content, you can create wireframes. This is the optional one. Create wireframes if you can find an AI tool that can do it accurately and quickly. I haven't found one yet, but you can create wireframes, get the client to validate that layout, and that really helps with your content rough order of magnitude, because now you've got a box on a page for each piece of content. You know what content you already have, and then you'll know exactly how much content needs to be created. Now, I've mentioned earlier that we've just launched our new website, PM for Profit, where we show you how to use AI to cut your project planning time in half. We're in the process of creating that course, so if you want to stay informed, subscribe to this video or click the link below this video that will let you sign up for our newsletter, where each week we send you a little bit of WordPress news, a little bit of industry news, a lot of AI news, and some PM for Profit tips and tricks to help you hold on to more of your planned profit. So until I see you again, stay productive, stay strong, always keep learning, and remain forever grateful, and I'll see you in the next video.